you're doing well tonight. I'm just gonna set everything up. Thank you so much for tuning in again. All right, so last week I started working on the Dragon Bag. So my goal tonight is to try to finish it. Hi Arnetta, how are you doing? All right, and I have most of my stuff laid out here in front of me. Hi Dawn. So this was the face that I have did a full length tutorial for appliquing it all. Hi Nicole. And so last week I had put the pocket on the back panel and attached the linings and did the base with the purse feet. Hi Beth. Oh, you're still knitting your sweater? Nice, Arnetta. I saw this, I don't know if I'd call it a trend, but in one of the quilting groups that I'm in, people have been making like sweatshirts with quilted arms and stuff. So when I was at Joann's this past weekend, I bought like a fat quarter pack of Christmas fabric and just like a Gildan sweater that was on sale. So that is my goal for this week, to try to make one of those sweaters with the quilted sleeves and stuff. So we'll see how it goes. If it goes well, I'll post pictures of it. Yeah, so tonight I plan on hopefully finishing this up. What I'm going to start with is where the handle goes. And in the original tutorial, or the original pattern, Demi has you like basically create your own handle, but I am going to do that with webbing. And the D-rings that you use are like screw in, so I want to use rectangle rings, which means I need to sew them on. So I'm gonna have to adapt it. Usually this is something like I do off screen, and that if I make a mistake, it's not really noticeable. I can pick it out. So we'll see how it goes doing it live, and you can see a little bit of my process behind the scenes is how I walk through the different bags. Hi, Gail. Yeah, Arnetta, it should be interesting, right? Like, I'm hoping it comes out good. In theory, in my head, it looks good. So we'll see how it looks in reality. All right, so I did not measure this. This is just a piece of the black 1-inch seatbelt webbing. It was like a scrap, so it's a little bit long. So honestly, I think I'm just gonna kind of like lay it out. If I were to go edge to edge, this is huge. So I'm gonna cut off. I'm gonna kind of see, like, as I pull this, what is more like a comfortable handle, I guess you could say, in the middle. Hi, Lucy. Thank you so much, all of you, tuning in and spending another Tuesday night with me. I appreciate it so much. So I think that this is a decent size handle here, like for my hand. If I were to, I could clip it in place. Maybe I should do that to try to see. A lot of this stuff, when it comes to like straps or handles, or even like crossbody versus shoulder straps and stuff, I always try to judge it based off of like my own comfortability. Or like crossbodies, a lot of people recommend doing it like 56 inches. I always make all my crossbodies for me 60 inches. Even though I'm short, I find that's like my ideal length. Yeah, so if I'm like keeping that clipped here, this is good. My hand fits through this. There's plenty of space. So I'm gonna clip my webbing. I thought I had the scissors to the right of me, but I was working on a project the other night, so they were on the table. Mona. Hi, Liz. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. All right, so now I'm gonna mark my center, and just mark it with chalk, and I'm gonna mark my center of the vinyl piece as well. And I always find centers, even when I'm making my bags and marking pattern pieces, 9 times out of 10, I find my centers by folding things in half. And we'll see, I might have to put some of this silver marking pen on this vinyl. I don't know if the chalk is gonna show up so well. Oh yeah, it kind of does. I'm not sure if you could see it, but it's enough that I can see it. So my preference is always to go to chalk when I can, white chalk in particular. I've never had a problem with it like not coming out. Oh, the accordion wallet tutorial does? Yeah, I love that pattern. I had seen people making them, but I'm not like a huge wallet person, so I was kind of like on the fence of trying it. But then when I went out to Mojo Sew's weekend, she taught that wallet and that particular style with the bar. Because Ginger has, I think it's 15 different options with like different shaped flaps that fold down. But I really, really love the look of just the metal clasp. So after it, when for the theme of the marathon being like 30-minute gifts, I messaged Michelle and I was like, hey, do you care if I ask Ginger if I make that wallet? Because I really love how you taught it. So yeah, I mean, Christmas is so close, but I'm definitely going to be making them, not for this Christmas, but even just like birthday gifts and stuff, because it comes together really nicely and looks really nice. Oh, it's your go-to wallet? Yeah, like it came together so quickly. I was really, really impressed by it. All right, so I have marked centers of all of this. I'm just gonna start at one side and then work my way across, because I'm going to sew the square rings like right onto this and have some stitching to kind of hold it in place. So to hold, I'm gonna just do a basting stitch on the edge here to try to keep that held on. Hi, Cam. And I probably should burn the edge of this webbing because it is going to be in the seam allowance, but not that much. So I'm going to grab a lighter and do that as well. I really hate, like, I try to never burn zippers and stuff if I don't need to, but in this case, because it already looks a little bit, I'll give it a quick hit with that. All right, and so now this is where I'm going to have to kind of play around to see how far along. So I'm going to slip on one of the rectangle rings. You could use D-rings or whatever. I just have an abundance of rectangle rings from the shop. So that's why I'm looking at that one. And I have one of the rulers from Mormino, one of the 8-inch glitter ones. I really like these. I have a smaller, like the 6-inch, but the 8-inch is really convenient for steps like this. So I think I'm going to put the D-ring about 5 inches, I'd say seems pretty good. So I'm just going to mark that here. Hi, girls. Hi, Meg. Hi, Addie. Hi, Willow. Hi, Winter. My sister's on, so that means I know, or they said hi, Auntie. I know my nieces are watching, so I have to make sure I say hello to each of them individually. Yeah. So, next week with the holidays, I'm going to go visit for Christmas. So we plan on I plan on making a video with each of them. My niece Addison says she wants to make a headband, and Willow and Winter haven't decided yet. So, actually, it's a good time to bring it up. So next Tuesday's Christmas Eve. I definitely won't be doing a 8 p.m. live. I'm not sure if we are going to, or if I'm gonna be able to do it while I'm home. It just kind of depends on a different day. But while I'm home, I plan on filming some videos with my nieces and then putting them up as like tutorials, not as a live. So we're gonna have some fun. I have some projects in mind to teach them, and actually, when I was talking tonight, one of my niece's friends sewed each of them a pencil case, so that was really sweet. Oh my God, you had your first webbing on a custom order? Oh no, yeah, that's the thing. Like the webbing can fray. I don't know. You know when you grow up, or I don't know if you guys grew up. I grew up like camping. And it was like, don't ever throw plastic in a fire and the burning smell. And I just know it's so bad for you. So I just try to avoid it. Especially like if the webbing I can leave off the end and put it deeper into my seam, I'll almost never melt it down. Alright, so now that I marked that mark, I'm going to top stitch down the side, come across there, and top stitch down the other to hold this in, and then I'm going to slide my rectangle ring on that other side. Yeah, I'm really excited to teach them to sew. I hope they enjoy it. My older niece Addison, we did a pillowcase before, but we did it with my serger, so that was a little bit different. So we'll see how it goes on the regular machine. And for this, usually I have to use a Teflon foot with vinyl, but because most of my foot right now is on the webbing itself, I'm not having an issue sewing across it. And I probably could have put some double-sided tape on this to hold it in place, because I can see that it's like shifting a tiny bit, but it's not that bad. I'm not worried about it. And this bag it'll be for me, so that's another reason. If I'm making things for like sale or customs, definitely more like particular and accurate. Oh, you know what? Glue or freight check, that would be, yeah, that's smart. Especially, I do use freight check on the ones that are like the jacquard webbing that are more loosely woven. Oh, thanks, Nicole. Yeah, I'm really excited. So hopefully they are excited. They seem to be looking forward to it. So I think it will be a good time. My niece want to learn. Well, that's what I'm wondering, Kim, how it will go, especially at Christmas. Like Santa will be coming and stuff, so but they really truly have been asking me for like a few months now. But it's so hard like going home for just a weekend to like bring my machine and everything. So I'm hoping like being home for like a longer time. So Chloe's there. I loved your pictures, your project, Liz. That is awesome. She did so good. Yeah, my nieces are 8 and 9, so I also think they're at a good age that they are capable. I don't know about a bag yet with like zippers and stuff, but definitely, other smaller projects. Or I guess not a complex bag. Maybe we could do like a smaller zipper pouch or something. And that's so cool is because it's on the industrials too. I still have never sewn on an industrial. I'm hoping to make it out to Lauren's in April and being able to join in and take a class too and maybe try one. Oh, the charm bag. I'll have to. Oh, that's good. I'm gonna look at that because, yeah, I'm definitely open to beginner projects that they might be good with. And then if they make a bag, they can store. They have so much Barbie stuff, and they can use it to store things. So I've attached my first rectangle ring. So I measured the 5.5 inches up, and then I just measured an inch. So I put top stitching on each side. It's pretty secure. I'm debating in my head if I want to put like a rivet or anything to help hold it. I also have Chicago screws. So I'm going to repeat the same process on this side. I'm going to measure up, and then I guess we'll see once I'm done if I put some more top stitching to kind of hold it until I get to that arch. But before I decide, I'm going to add the other rectangle ring. Oh, you know what, Liz? I have to go back because there's still, like, I think yours was the very early time slot, right, on Saturday? And I always have to go back and watch them because the morning ones on Saturday, like, if they're like 8 or 9, I usually am watching them on another day. I feel like the last week or so have just been so hectic with school and all the last minute stuff before the holidays. But I'm so happy with my school, at least, like my day job. I finished my final report that I needed to do today, so that felt really good. All right, and so because I am going to top stitch this side on, I'm going to put my rectangle ring on now, but just slide it all the way down to the opposite side. Yeah, the chart, that one it's by Sophisticated Designs, right? If that's the one that I'm thinking of. And then there's different levels of the charm bag. I know they had a smaller one and one that was more like a purse. Shorts for a first one. Oh, that's awesome, Kim. Do any of them like sewing now or not so much? They haven't really done it. I also have like a closet full of knit fabrics, and I've slowly been making some like shirts and dresses for them. So that's another idea of mine, is to bring that home and maybe make some of the clothes with them. I use a lot of Ellie and Mac designs or patterns for their clothes. Actually, one of them today, I had made a shirt. They had I think my sister called it Grinch Day or something, and basically they could wear like Christmas stuff or holiday stuff. And one of them I had some Belle fabric with her dressed up in like the Christmas scene. And so one of them wore one of the shirts that I made today for that. Oh, Tuesday tote. Yeah, I love the Tuesday tote. I actually made one for my mom and my sister. That is a good idea. They could use that they go to camp in the summer to carry all their stuff. So that's a good idea, Arnetta. Oh, there's one more report. Yeah. I know, I'm so excited. Hey, Brittany. Here in New York, they were actually going to have us go to school on Monday and then not start our vacation until Tuesday, like Christmas Eve. But the union fought it, and so they gave us the day, and I'm so glad. So we don't go back until the day after New Year's. So it'll be a nice break. Always at the end once in a while. Oh, a rice bag. That's hand warmers and a rice bag. That's a good idea too. I love these ideas. Thank you so much, because I'm like, I don't know what to do with them. All right, so now that bottom, I'm using black on black, so you can't really see it on the screen, unfortunately. But since I top stitched that, now I'm gonna pull this rectangle ring and do the top stitching on the other side. We are not snowed in. We had like a little flurries here in New York, because I'm in New York City, and so we're near the water. Like upstate has been buried in snow with the lake effect and everything. Here in New York, we haven't really gotten anything. Tomorrow's supposed to be rain, and then Friday could be snow. This weekend is when it's gonna start really getting cold, so we'll see. I want to go into the city one of these nights. I really enjoy going to like Rockefeller Center and seeing the tree lit up, and they have Christmas markets, and there's one in particular that I love going to in Bryant Park. So I really look forward to that. Jason and I have been going the last few years, and so we're hoping to go one night this week. So hopefully it won't be too cold or rainy. Oh my gosh, you got about a foot of snow? What are they calling for, Nicole? Ah, Liz, rub it in. I'm so jealous of your warm weather. Don't be surprised if I show up one day and be like, hi, Liz. All right. So this here, I'm going to add maybe just like another inch, like another box, like an inch, just to hold this down, because if you look right now, it flops up a little bit. So I think I'm going to add just a little bit of more stitching to separate that handle. I've only driven through Alabama. I've never, like, because I went to school in Florida, so I've only driven on the way up to Tennessee. So I got to put it on my list. I would love to go to all 50 states. Like, I love traveling. So definitely on my list. Oh wow, highways are shut down. Yeah, I believe it. Like upstate New York and like the border of Canada has really been getting hammered, especially like the Great Lakes region, and they get that lake effect snow. So oh, maybe it avoided you again, Kim. You were talking before about how the ice storm was missing you. It seems like you've been pretty lucky. And so for these, I'm just back stitching, because since I'm using black on black, you can't even see it. Oh, I might have just jammed it though. When I put in the bobbin tonight, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely gonna have to wind a new bobbin at some point. So it might be low and have to fix that. I'm also really terrible about holding my threads when I sew, and I get them sucked down inside all the time too. Alright, we'll try that again. This is another bad habit. I always cut them too short, so then when I went to like crank this in, it pulled out of the needle. That happens to me like all the time too. All right, now it's working, so we're good. Oh no. I hope you made it in okay. It's always scary. Like, growing up in Connecticut, they still get snow because of where they are. They're not near the coast. So sometimes they get a ton. I guess I'm glad that I grew up, like, learning how to drive in the snow at least. But some people, it's scary. Oh, the Oxbow. That's a really nice bag, too. I haven't made one yet, but I love the look of that. All right, I'm going to have to completely... So, I rethreaded it, but whenever this happens, you can see where it looped underneath. So sometimes when it gets pulled out, I'll rethread it, but I usually have to like pop out my bobbin and everything as well. Yeah, so in New York City, they've made it now that if we get snow, there's basically like no more snow days. But like Nicole, they like in my 15 years of working here, I probably can count on two hands how many times we've actually had a snow day, because most kids take public transportation or are in walking distance if they're in elementary school of their school. So it's really, really rare to shut down school. But my nieces had a snow day last week, and it was nice because they actually let them have a snow day instead of going remote. And so they played outside all day making snowmen and sledding. And I was telling my family, like, you know, it's nice. Like, growing up as a kid, those snow days were fun. Like, they were special. Yeah. Oh, I can't even imagine driving up in Canada and stuff up there. The ice bridges. Nicole, I was thinking like the Ice Road Truckers show. That's funny. Yeah. Like, that's wild to me. I can't imagine that amount of snow. Oh yeah, Liz. In the South, it's like it's wild how like a dusting will just shut it down because you just don't have the equipment either to like clean up the snow. So the good thing about this looping is that the loops are so big that I literally can just tug on this and it's all coming out. Yeah, I don't, was it Discovery Channel? I don't know. I don't really watch a ton of TV. I read a lot of books. It's honestly really hard for me to just sit and watch a TV show. But if I do watch a TV show, it's usually like some type of nonfiction on like National Geographic or something where I'm like learning. Yeah, my favorite, Liz, is like driving. So like going to school in Florida, we would drive from Connecticut down, and like you reach, I don't know, it might even be like Pennsylvania, but you start seeing signs and it's like bridges freeze before the rest of the road, like maybe icy. And it's just so funny to me to see the warnings and stuff like that. I forget that, you know, if you don't grow up around ice and stuff, you don't, and snow, you don't realize that. So teacher of me, Liz. Yeah, I really like learning. I'm pretty nerdy like that. But it's funny because I love reading. But I think, like I mentioned before, it's never nonfiction books. What the heck? So this is, I don't know. I'm gonna try the other side first. This is giving me so much trouble in this one area, and I was trying to start in this one particular side so I didn't have to sew where I've already put a line of top stitching, but I might have to start on the other side and work my way into this corner because there's something about this particular side that's not working out. And I'm actually going to try to hold my thread, see if that helps me as well. If this doesn't turn out, then we're definitely going with rivets. See, it used to make me like so nervous, like going live for stuff like this, where it's like, oh no, what if mistakes happen, or what if I come into a problem? But I really appreciate everybody still watching and being so supportive as I'm working through like troubleshooting. Because I feel like as a beginner sewist, that's like something I never really thought about, how many of us probably have run into this same or similar problems as we're sewing. To be sad already. Oh. Yeah. COVID brain is no joke. I hope he feels better soon. Oh, thanks, Nicole. That makes me feel better that you guys don't mind, or at least you don't mind the troubleshooting. I know that was really helpful for me when I first started sewing, when I finally saw videos where either it was troubleshooting or they had made a mistake but showed how they fixed it in the video. Seeing that stuff, it was really, really helpful for how I proceeded with my sewing and how I would tackle different problems as they come up. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's really like I used to be so nervous to go live every Tuesday. And I mean, now I still get a little bit nervous, but it's more excited because I genuinely mean it. I'm so grateful for all of you that tune in on Tuesday night, and a lot of you come back every Tuesday. So I feel like it's like my own little group of sewing friends across the world. All right, so that box finally sewed up okay. All right, so now I have my square rings that my straps will connect to eventually, or like a crossbody strap. And when this is on, I have my little grab handle, and you can see the chalk is already starting to wear off, and that's just me, sewing with it. So later I'll just take like a wet paper towel or a baby wipe, and that comes up almost perfectly. So now the gusset for the zipper part has this wide part and then this skinnier part here. So I'm going to start putting the zipper in, and I have this huge long cut, and I'm just going to trim that down so it's still a little bit longer than the gusset, but just not, like, I still have a huge piece here. And I am going to make this a double zipper. I'm not going to put it on yet, so whenever I put my zipper pulls on first and I'm clipping, I always move my zipper pull out of the way, because I find that can make a curvy zipper if you don't. I know to do it, a lot of people say to do it when you're, actually sewing it, but I find that also doing it while you are clipping makes a difference too. But usually I base this into place first and then sew my lining on it. But I think I'm going to try to do both layers together just so it's quicker. Oh, the D-rings from the gusset. Yeah. I have totally done one. Well, I think one of my very first lives, I had sewed, like my preference for zippers is 3/8, and I sewed it, I don't know why. Oh, because my zipper foot bumps over, so I sewed it like almost a half an inch, and I like couldn't open it. So yeah, and then I also feel like at some point I just have to laugh at myself, because if you don't, then you can get like so upset and let it really really bother you. All right, so I just clipped it on. Now I'm gonna go back making my zipper sandwich with my lining, and like I said, I'm gonna, instead of basting this, I'm just gonna try to do it all in one go. I'll have to show you guys in a second after I do this. This past weekend and yesterday I finished filming a backpack from Lacus Designs, and I'm really excited. It's a full-size backpack. So my goal the rest of this week, depending how much I can get done at night, or might be this weekend, I'm going to edit that tutorial and be able to put it out for everybody. Yeah, it's the same thing, Liz, with Tuesday nights. The only thing I think it makes it better is because I'm not in the classroom right now. I couldn't imagine being in the classroom and then coming on and going live. But working out of the office, I feel like I have a lot more energy. But yeah, it during the week it can be hard. I think of going to live together over the break. Oh, definitely let me know. So my plan is I'm gonna go home and visit family for a part of it, but then I definitely want to come back and have a few days before going back. Yeah, I think pajamas would be great. Like I said, I really want to learn to make clothes for myself. So actually, since I know some of you, have you guys ever used, I think it's cashmerette is how you pronounce it. I was looking at their patterns, and they have like such a wide range of sizes, and it seems like maybe it would be a good place for me to start, because I wouldn't have to make quite as many adjustments for myself. But that was just me kind of never heard. Yeah, it's called cashmerette, and they have, I guess, like different designers will, for example, like tops, like base it off of one size. So they have like their shirt tops, you could do it based off of like anywhere from like a B to G cup and stuff. So, oh, 5X now on their new ones. Oh, that's good, Liz. I have a couple from Patterns for Pirates, but I've never tried them for myself. I've only done an Ellie and Mac one for myself, and that was not good. So that's why I was thinking with like designers that were they're based off of different sizes. And also I'm just switching out to a Teflon foot because now I'm gonna top stitch, and with the vinyl I definitely need a Teflon foot. And I'm trying to fold it back as best I can, because the vinyl is kind of thick. So I want to make sure. One of the problems that I have is the water resistant canvas or waterproof canvas kind of like puckering up and then getting stuck in the zipper. So I'm really just trying to make sure I'm bending that back. And I know you're not really supposed to tug on your zipper. That could make it wavy too. But a lot of times I do it to try to make sure. I'd rather have a slight wave in my zipper than not be able to open my zipper. Or even like here, I'll like lift the foot to try to get it started. Little things that you're probably not supposed to do, but I have found that are helpful, especially like here, this is gonna get sewed into a gusset, so, or yeah, into the seam, so you're not gonna see it anyways. I think that's one of the biggest things that I learned with my domestic is like getting it started. Like, usually once I'm going, I'm good, but especially when that vinyl gets a little bit thicker. I'm using black, so I'm gonna see it's contrasting, so I'm definitely gonna see my stitching, but the crocodile texture kind of helps hide it if the stitches aren't so perfect. Yeah, getting started on that end, especially if it's like a thicker vinyl, sometimes I'll even start like a 1/4 of an inch in and back stitch first and then go forward. Oh my gosh. You guys are gonna laugh at me. I totally ran out of the bobbin, of course, during the top stitching. But I'm not gonna pick it out. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. So it ran out about here. So I'm just going to pull it back and tie it off inside. And because at least with the lining, it's the black thread on black. So you're not really gonna notice the knot or anything. And again, this bag is for me. If I was making this to sell or for someone else, I probably would completely unpick this and if this ever happens, and then I've totally done this before where I'll literally hand crank and line up every single puncture hole that I have made while I've top stitched. Hi Nikki, how you doing? Miss Buzzback. Yeah, so I don't know anything different. I've never ever used an industrial machine. I've never used a semi-industrial like the Juki 2010 or the HD9. So I don't even know what that feels like, but this machine does have all metal gears. So even though it's not like your older classic Singer with like the the black frame and whatnot, the insides are all metal. So I know it's super strong. Like anything that I put under the presser foot, it will sew through. So yeah, that's my goal going to Lauren's studio in April to actually try one of the machines. Alright, so I'm totally gonna wind that bobbin and I'm just going to backstitch right there. You're not even gonna see it. It also happens to fall in a part where it's like a lot of crocodile texture, because I mean the stitches are pretty even. I don't know how well you can see them on the camera, but even in person, like right here, because of the texture of the vinyl, I don't see the individual stitches. Oh, thank you, Nikki. Yeah, I'm really excited. I bought this, it's like crocodile vinyl from My Punk Broidery, and I bought it in this pink, a purple, and a black. And it's been sewing really well. Like I'm really happy with it. Oh yeah, Arnetta. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Like when I first started sewing bags, it was on a Brother machine. And you know, just like your basic one. And even that I had a lot of success with. I wasn't able to use the vinyl, but I did, or very thin vinyls, and I just used cork. I really think a big part of it is learning your machine, learning what works best on your machine. The Teflon foot was a game changer for me. Oh, that's great. You're not an industrial snob. That's funny. Yeah, I know what you mean though. It does bother me when people say like you can't make bags unless you have an industrial. But I do see that obviously you're able to use that thicker thread. Nikki, I am though. That's really funny. I think it's all also one of those things that like you don't notice the difference or what you could do until you actually use an industrial, right? At least that's what I imagine it to be. Because I'm just like, oh, this works for me. I think that's one of the other things too. I'm like, am I going to use an industrial then never want to go back? And this can sew like thin leather, I know, for like garments and stuff, but I've never tried. I have some pieces, but I've never tried making a bag out of it. But I do think an industrial would be incredible because I would love to make like some like genuine leather bags. Nicole, yeah. That's my worry. And then I'm just trimming that down where, yeah, so it's like slightly thicker where I backstitch, but honestly, it's really not that noticeable. And I'm usually like very kind of picky and will see those things. So I'm pretty happy with it. So now I'm just going to do the other side. And it worked out well for not, what's it called? For not basting it first. It's pretty even. You have 2 ready for number 3. Have to get it yourself next year. Yeah. Yeah, I think if I do get an industrial, I want to jump like directly to a cylinder arm with that you could get one of the tables for it. Alright, so I'm switching back to my zipper foot, so that way this will be ready once I go. I want to show you the backpack real quick. So this is the backpack I just made. It's the, I believe it's pronounced Stian. It's Stian by Lacus Designs. and it has 3 options. So you can do one with just the zipper and it folds over. She has an option where you can make it a drawstring, like cinch it on the top. And then there's this one that has the buckle with the adapter. And so I chose to put the zipper and the buckle. And so it has the front pocket and the side pockets, which are pretty deep. And the back just looks, there's no pocket in the back. And then inside, I don't know how well you can see, but inside there's a zipper pocket. And so I just did it with, the outside is water resistant canvas. The inside is waterproof canvas with the PVC backing. And I put a layer of fusible fleece, and it's pretty squishy. And I carry a backpack to work every day. And this is like the first full size backpack that I made, and I think I'm gonna take it to work and test it out because I think it's gonna be my new work bag. So yeah, I've had a lot. This is what I've been working on this past weekend and last night. So I just have to put the tutorial together. So now I'm just lining this up again, and sometimes I have to, like, I almost just clip this on the wrong way. Sometimes I have to like literally do it and like fold it and be like, okay, it's gonna fold open. So that bag it's called the Stion, Stin. And it's from Lacus Designs or Lacus Bags, Lacus. She is on Etsy, and I did these like pouches from her before. I really like her patterns, and she's in Europe, so they were originally only in metric, and she's slowly been converting them to imperial as well. And this one is one that's converted, and the designs, like the instructions are great. I really like her style of writing. Yeah, so my 2024 goal for YouTube was to really start like taking it more seriously and being consistent and hopefully getting monetized. And so that I achieved that this year. I achieved that this month. So next year I want to really continue putting out the tutorials and more consistently. So I know we're gonna be doing more marathons, so I hope to be involved in that. So that's my 2025 YouTube goals. Oh no, snowfall warning. That's the worst. When it just made me think of like being at work and everybody gets an alert at once and everybody's phone's like going off crazy. How long, so Nicole, when you get snow like that, how long is it usually before they get it cleaned up for you? Yeah, for sewing goals, Liz, or just all sorts of goals? Oh yeah, sewing in YouTube, yes. Clean up at something's here. No. Yeah, I can't even imagine. I know when we get the odd snowfall of like a couple feet, it's crazy. A few years in New York ago, like I think it was before COVID now, maybe. I don't know. Time is such like a time warp for me. We got so much snow and they didn't prepare for it, and it was a mess. Like ambulances were like stuck, couldn't get to people. It was really awful. Like we cleaned up once it stops. Yeah, that's funny. Oh, one of your goals is going to be tough. Yeah, Shinova. Shinova's so sweet. I met her at one of the expos, and she was so nice. And Lauren is too. I am really grateful to have met so many good people within the sewing community. What I have to look at the schedule. I saw the schedule being released, and I plan on going or hoping to go to the her So Whatever weekend, not weekend. What does she call it? So Whatever summit in April. And I think I can say it. I don't know. I'm supposed to be teaching a class out in April too. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping to teach and to then be able to take classes too. 3 feet of snow. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I thought 18 inches was bad. I don't think I've ever been in that much snow. 3 feet. Sheesh. Yeah, in New York City, it's like, oh my god, your car will be buried. Cleaning out your car is awful. Puts in a dump truck. Wow. I've seen where they take like the bulldozers and lift it up and transport it out of the city and stuff, but not like a special machine. Oh my gosh, Nicole, I could not imagine. You went from the desert to snow. So this is giving me trouble again getting started. And this is like the funny Teflon foot where one side is smaller. And it's so awkward sometimes for me to start on that, on this side here. Like I'd rather have the excess of my bag be on the outside, but I need that smaller edge. Yeah, the sewing marathons, the two things that really helped my channel grow were the sewing marathons and then starting to do these lives every Tuesday. Just that that consistency. Yeah, because I used to do, I agree, Liz, I used to do like the cotton cuts quilting tutorials and stuff, and then tutorials for my own patterns, but I only put out like maybe 2 patterns a year. So once I really started filming other bag making tutorials and posting more consistently, like last year I participated in every single sewing marathon, and that was a huge boost. And it's also so funny to me to see like like I'll have certain videos that will catch. For example, like the puff quilt that I just put out, the pattern, over a year ago, last October, so October 2023, I had made a tutorial and just like put the measurements in the description, and like it got like a few views, but nothing crazy. But this year people have found it, and it got like so many views. And then it's like I released the actual tutorial that goes along with the pattern, and that one's catching, but not like the other one. So it's really funny. And also like the keywords, I tried doing different tags and stuff to see if that helps or if certain ones catch better. Oh yeah, the time management. I can really relate to that, Nikki. I can't tell you how many nights it's like, okay, I gotta do the marathon. It's this coming weekend. Well, guess I'm sewing and filming and editing all in a day. That's usually what my weekends become. But I mean, I don't have kids, so thankfully, like, I don't have any other responsibilities. I can just dedicate if I need to. All right, so that took a little bit of time, and it's pretty even. I know there's a little like wiggle right here, but not noticeable. Well, what is so cool is like I showed it before last week with the tape, but it catches the light and it has like this purple color because it's really like complementing the pink. So I'm going to put my zipper pulls on, and I'm doing a double zipper, so I'm going to put them on each side in the center, and then I'm going to just base stitch all the way around to make it easier. And that's why I like leaving the extras on the zipper too. That way I didn't have to worry about moving the pull out of the way or anything like that. Oh my gosh, 7 hours of footage. Yeah, it's so something that I found, I don't know if it helps any of you that also make tutorials, but when I'm filming it, so I have like a very like specific way that I like to do my tutorials, and so I like to explain it but also show the sewing portion. So when I'm sewing the actual portion, I film that in time lapse to begin with. I don't film it in regular speed, so that way if it's already in time lapse, it will upload quicker, and it's one less thing that I have to then go in and speed up. I cannot tell you, Nikki, how many times I have either did that where I forgot to hit pause, or I'll get the camera all set up at the angle, and because I'm like adjusting it and be like, all right, yeah, I got it, and then I look and I'm like, oh, I didn't hit record. So I'm just running this basting stitch pretty quickly around. I'm debating if I should trim this underneath. There's a little bit of an edge, but we'll see. Yeah, I totally did that, Liz. Or I'll hit like record as I'm walking away with the stuff, and I'm like, oh, because I'm thinking I'm stopping it and I'm actually starting it. It's really funny, like the bloopers that go on behind the scenes. I really, Amber from the Crafty Reporter, if you ever watch her videos, sometimes at the end she puts bloopers and they're just hilarious and so relatable. Yeah, so see, Kim, I appreciate that, because that's kind of how I feel. Well, like, you know, everybody, I feel like everybody that makes videos has their own style. But I know that when I started sewing, I really needed to see everything. And so when I think about my channel and the types of videos that I make, you know, maybe more experienced sewists might not like it because I go into a lot of explanation and show everything. But my own personal preference is I'd rather show everything and include the timestamps and people can jump around than to not show something. Because I remember just feeling so frustrated trying, like, teaching myself to sew and not understanding what the pattern was saying, and then not being able to figure out, like, what I was supposed to do. Yeah, exactly, Nikki. Same thing. Like, you know, if it's something like super tricky, like I might show it the first time in regular speed or explain, or I'll do it in a time lapse and be like, for example, for this, I might be like, all right, well, here I'm sewing with a Teflon foot. It helps with the vinyl, blah, blah, blah. But I still like people to be able to see what I'm doing, like maybe even how my hands are, just that visual. For me as a learner is so helpful. All right, so now we have the zipper gusset part. So we got to attach it to our base. So this is the part where I always have to think about it. So I believe it is right sides together, and then the lining right sides, because when I turn it, yes. So again, this is an example where I literally have to, it doesn't matter how many times I do this, I still put it together and think through the steps. Oh yeah, no problem, Kim. I'm always like, I think it comes from being a teacher too, that we are evaluated. So we get class observations, like as a new teacher, it can be like, I don't know, 4 times, and then depending what your rating is. So I'm so used to getting observations and feedback that I'm totally open. If you guys have any suggestions or comments or anything about my videos, feel free to share. I'm pretty, I like to think I'm pretty open to feedback and adaptable. Because I also genuinely believe that's how we learn, from like one each other. And you know, if no one tells us, then we might not know. Oh, you like hearing the sound of the machine. What is it, like I forgot the ASMR? Yeah. Yeah, Nikki. Okay, I can't do really fall asleep to it sometimes. Oh, that's funny. I'm funny about noises. It depends. I'm very, like, noise sensitive. Alright. And this is the part with gussets that always get me, is to then have to, like, scooch this up where it gets kind of stuck in between. So I'm just creating that zipper sandwich on the other side. I'll fold it and top stitch after. I'm gonna do both sides first. And like I said, I'm not usually, again, I base this, but just to save time, and it's for me, so I'm going right to the stitching. Strangely relaxing. Yeah, I couldn't. Oh my god, a clutch motor? Couldn't even imagine. Ah! Totally just, I've broken so many clips this past week. Even filming that backpack, I've busted so many. But I know they're just plastic, so they just reach their lifespan. Oh, yeah. I love, like if I'm making a bag that I've made a lot, I love putting on other people's YouTube videos and just listening to them while they're sewing or talking. Um, that's really enjoyable for me while I'm sewing. Yeah, I don't know. This one was just a regular clip from, like, you know, from Amazon. I have my glitter clips on the other table, and I don't know. I've found like this was full, and now you can see how many I have left after, and those aren't lost. Those are from ones that have broken. So I don't know. I don't really notice a speed to them. I do think I think they're all breaking on me right now because they've been used so much that they're all reaching their lifespan at the same exact time. So now I'm just pulling this and straightening it, and I'm going to run a line of top stitching. And I'm not going to trim off that zipper. I'm leaving that so that way if it frays or anything, there's plenty within the stitch lines. Yeah, you'll see when I put up the tutorial for the backpack I just showed, I, no joke, probably broke 6 clips, like right in a row too. This part I always struggle with because it's really so thick here. The metal clips and stapler. I still don't use staples. I hate the idea of then having to remove them. But I know that they would be helpful. Like they're probably would be super helpful with this gusset that is coming up. But I think from the removing staples just reminds me too much of the bulletin boards at school. The metal hair clips I really, really like. I'm just pulling out my bobbin because at the very end, one of the pieces got stuck on each other. So I don't know if you can tell, I have an extra thread stuck through. So when I cut it, it was, yeah, there we go. The other thing too is I do maintenance on my machine myself, and I probably should. It's probably due for me to take it apart and oil it and whatnot. I'm really bad about that. Like I'll wait till I hear it like clanking. The same thing with needles. I'll also wait till I hear it like punching through. Oh my gosh, ran over a pin. Yeah, that was scary. I hate using metal pins in general. Every time I use metal pins, I poke myself. Alright, I just grabbed a silver marking pen because now I'm going to mark the centers, and I feel like that just shows up a little bit better than the chalk for this vinyl. Yeah, this one's so thick, I broke another one. I was trying to clip it into place to mark the center, but I'm just going to do it this way. Yeah, I don't mind taking apart this machine, like taking it open and oiling and stuff. I think one of the reasons why I like sewing is I really like working with my hands and building stuff. I took a lot of trade classes in high school, and I really like it. I would love to do like an actual sewing machine maintenance class. I think that would be really cool. Yeah, I'm bad. I've never taken this machine in. Partly because then I would be without a machine, and partly because I know it's worth it, but it's just like, it's just extra money that I don't have or want to spend. But I know that they really should be taken in, or, you know, looked at by a professional. Though I do think like this machine not being like computerized, that is more mechanical, I think it's not necessarily quite as important as like a computerized machine. Like if I was sewing on like a Bernina or something like that, then I would probably be more mindful of it. Alright, so I just found the 4 center parts for my gusset. And I'm going to do the same for each of these. And like you can see, I just fold it in half and mark my center. I'm hoping it'll be close enough. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've never used a fully computerized machine. I'm pretty sure there's a mark. I'm marking the top centers. I was going to do the sides, but I don't know if that's technically the center point. I think there's a mark that I'm probably supposed to line up on the pattern. But I'm just going to roll with it, and hopefully it comes out okay. Alright. So when I put it... this is another part where I literally like have to like manually think about it. So I want the handle towards the back. So I want to kind of come forward like this and match up. I'm going to match up my center bottom and the center top. Oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine taking something apart and being like, oh no, where do these pieces go? So I think if I'm going to have trouble, this is where it's going to be. And I get this a lot. A lot of times I don't top stitch down my gusset because they stretch at different rates. So the vinyl has a little bit more than that water resistant canvas. So I'm going to try to ease it in. And hopefully it works. Scooby-Doo. That's a great name, Arnetta, for it. So this is where I start, like, I can feel that my bottom gusset is a little bit more loose. So I'm going to start from the top. And what also makes it tricky is like tucking in these dragon ears or dragon horns and the little frills. And it's definitely a little bit tricky where this horn is because I really have to fold it down kind of far in one area, and it gets caught on the frill. See, that one was a glitter clip. I'm gonna have to order a new pack. Yeah, I'm so terrible about needles. Nicole, is the postal strike still going on? I feel so bad. I had a woman order in Quebec and she's still waiting because it transfers from USPS to the Canadian Post, and I can't do anything about the package now because it's just like sitting in limbo. So I'm gonna try to clip this the best that I can, and then I'm gonna have to clip my curves of my gusset. Oh, good. They'll be taking packages on Thursday. Oh, that's so good. I'm happy to hear that. This poor lady, I feel so bad. Alright, so even though my bottom vinyl gusset was kind of loose compared to the lining, I think I've eased it in a pretty good amount. So we're going to see once I start sewing this. I usually clip into the gusset. That's really important to help it kind of go around, but just time wise I'm gonna try to do it, and I always sew with my gusset side up so I can smash it down, so we'll see how it goes. This is hands down the hardest part of bag making for me is putting in gussets. Oh, packages of words I use them. Yeah. See, I wonder how it's working because USPS already has my package. So it's like sitting on the border waiting to transfer to the Canadian Post. I wonder if they paused it because they were just getting such an influx. And something that I do with gussets is I tend to sew them going around the first time at a smaller seam allowance, and then if I need to, I can increase it, go around a second time, or as I'm binding it, go that full seam allowance. So I'm gonna try it here and see how it goes. It's hard to see because of where the camera is, but I'm like wrestling with it over here around the corner. This bag does get very, very thick. So if I didn't have the metallic or metal gears, I don't know if I'd be able to use all vinyl. coming up to where the horns are. Good night, Kim. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I knew tonight will probably... I usually try to do the hour, but I really want to finish this bag. I don't know if I'll bind it tonight, but I definitely want to get it attached. So if you do binding on your bags, what is your preference? Do you like the, double fold bias tape? Do you like the fold over elastic? Making your own waterproof canvas? I'm curious if you guys have a preference. For me, I really like the look of the double fold bias tape, but I don't like, oh no, I think this, hold on, somewhere, oh. So back here, my bobbin thread must have broke. I'm glad I noticed that now before I got too far around the bag. I'll use all three regularly. Yeah. So the water, I think the water resistant canvas I have the most trouble with. My, oh, see, you guys have made me so happy to know that you all use, at some point, the double fold bias tape. Yeah, oh, you know what? Good idea, Nicole. I thought I did. I'm gonna put it up to 4. It's still on 2.5 for the stitch. I mean, I think going around that corner, where the horn was, because that's where it was having some trouble, definitely played into that. The water, oh, the one, yeah, that's a cool method that Shannon used, where she folds it over, because it just looks so clean. All right, so what I'm gonna do, and this is probably not like, this is what I do, but probably not the correct method, is I'll start a little bit further back stitch a few times over and catch the thread that broke, and then continue around. So I'm totally gonna do that, especially because I'm gonna have to go over this eventually, and actually bind it, so I figure it will catch then, if it doesn't now. See, this is probably where the staples would have benefited me instead of clips. Seems to be going smoothly now, so thank you for Nicole to remind me, or to suggest to put the stitch length wider. I feel like I'm getting a workout squishing the gusset down. Yeah, so you both have made me feel better, because I'm like, I don't know if this is like a suggestion I should share with people, but I'm like, it's definitely something that I do. Especially, like you said, I'm binding later. If I'm gonna go over it, or even if it happens like I'm sewing like a lining seam or something, I'll totally backstitch over it instead of starting all over again. Hi, Annette. I am using, it's a Singer 5528. I'm not sure if it's from the late 70s or the early 80s. But the inside has all metal gears. So it's really sturdy. Anything that I could put under the presser foot, it will go through. I think the most I ever did was, I did a Bell, like Bell's, is it Bell? The one by Swoon, the baby Bell bag, for my cousin. And I couldn't wrap my brain around the drop-in lining. So I was like, oh, I'll just bind it. And I think at one point I was going through like 15 layers and it went through it. I had to hand crank in some, but. All right, so I think I caught it all. I'm gonna turn it and just double check. And sometimes too, this is something that took me like a while. Like right here, you could see, you know, it's not perfect, but I always just flip it right side out. And if there's no crinkle and it looks okay, I don't worry if my seam allowance shifts a little bit. I feel like that's something that took a little bit of time for me to come to accept and to like learn that too. Yeah, binding is my enemy. Yes. I really love binding for the structure it gives bags, but I definitely struggle with it too. I've been using fold over elastic a lot, just because it takes out that extra step of having to sew it a couple times. Yeah, I'm actually really happy with it. I was super nervous because the bottom, the gusset seemed so much more stretched out, but it didn't ripple or anything, so really happy with it. What's my serial number? I'm not sure where to find it on here. So my aunt that gave it to me said, I can't remember, the paperwork, I want to say said like 82 or something for the table, but I don't know if she got the table at the same time as the machine. The serial number might be underneath. Yeah, I think it might be underneath. I'll have to go on a hunt for it and let you know. Because I know that with Singer, you can put your serial number in. It will tell you like the exact years and everything, right? Oh, wow, that's really cool. Yeah, my meme used to have one of the old Singers. She lived to 101, so it had to be from like the early 1900s, but I don't know whatever happened to it. I remember as a kid like going to see her and she would always like sew and be hemming everything on that machine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's early 80s because I want to say that my aunt told me it was like late 70s, but I think because she still had like the original booklet with the receipt and stuff, and I want to say it was like 80, yeah, maybe 81 or 82. But it's great because it was still at the time where they hadn't switched to all the plastic components and stuff. Yeah, the model number, it's a Singer 5528. And I think they only made them during like a certain time period as well. All right, so now I'm just going to do the back side. I always think the second side of binding is way harder. I open up my zipper and try to like help pop it out as I'm going. But yeah, this is definitely, to me, this is definitely, the back side, or the second side of binding is always the harder. I think only thing that's going to make it a bit easier is the dragon face, since I don't have to worry about the horns or the frills. Have a good night, Liz. Thanks for popping on. I appreciate you spending your night with me. Oh, yeah. From 42. Like a lot of where I grew up in Connecticut was an old mill town. So there, and all the mills were like thread and like cotton, like textiles. So there's a lot of old machines you'll find that, you know, get passed down in families and stuff. Oh yeah, Liz, post it in my group. I want to see it. Oh my gosh, I want a Husqvarna so bad. Like, I don't know how the new ones are, but I love the look of the old machines. So I'm gonna, again, like I put a couple clips on the bottom, but it worked well for me to clip the top and work my way around. So I'm hoping that if I do the same, it will work out. Oh yeah, I bet, Nicole, that once you clean it up though, that's the really cool thing about the old mechanical machines, is that once you give them like a good cleaning and tune up, they'll work great. Like my aunt probably hadn't used this machine since the 80s, and I took it here, opened it up, like cleaned it all out, oiled it, and put it right to work. Yeah, so this brown part is plastic, and then this top part here and sides are all metal. So 82 is probably when it was. The wiring, that's interesting with the wiring. Are you going to try to do that on your own or have someone do that for you? One thing that I love about gussets, that if I actually cut them accurately and am able to keep the seam allowance correct, I think it's so satisfying how they'll just fit right into place. Yeah, I think the electrical part would be a little intimidating. That I'd be more hesitant to try to tackle on my own. Yeah, I think it would be really, that's probably really cool as like a, just like on your wall on a shelf or something, like a display feature. This seems to be fitting like almost perfect here. So I'm hoping, again, as I go around, it will work out okay. I'm just debating about where I want to start. Oh, that's so cool. Like, I love the ones that have like their built-in cases and stuff. So neat. It's just so fascinating too that the quality of how they were built and like the artistry, like even in the cases and such. What's cool is like in New York City, you'll see the old machines a lot, but because so many people sew, and also people like know the value and people will pay more, you don't really find them for like good deals where people are like, oh, on Facebook Marketplace I found this. Like, you can find that in my hometown, but not so much here in New York. I'm trying to figure out the best way to smush this down. Sometimes, like, I like to peel it back. Oh, wow, that's great. I always check the thrift stores. Some people find such good finds for sewing and quilting. There's this one woman that I follow on Instagram that takes like old quilts, old tablecloths, and that she finds at like thrift stores and turns them into like upcycled clothing, and it's just so cool. And I feel like I'll check thrift stores and I never find anything crafty or sewing related. I think another thing for gussets too, when I first started sewing them, I was so afraid to manipulate them and smush them down, and like I was trying to do it so slow and so straight, and I found that now that I'm more confident with it, that smushing them and like putting muscle behind it has actually really helped. And if I'm doing like a gusset in cotton, like stiletto will help. But like right here, the materials are so thick that I don't find a stiletto very helpful in this case. So I usually get my fingers close and just be way more mindful. Oh wow, 500 for the Juki DDL. That's a good deal. Yeah, exactly. And especially if people know the true value of the machine. I don't blame someone for getting like what it's worth, but I feel like it's so hard to find the deals. I'm always like not jealous, but I'm always surprised when people are like, "Oh, I found this on Marketplace in my town." I'm like, "You're so lucky." With their $1 in the bucket. Yeah. Have to go buy one in Canada and drive it back. Yeah, see that's good. It's nice when you can find something for fair price, and you can like test it out. All right, so this is the back side. From this side, it looks good. I don't notice crinkles, so we'll turn it and see how it feels. Oh my gosh, with regular domestic needles. Yeah, I've seen that a few times where people get a machine they don't understand, and then that always makes me sad in a way that people get something and don't really learn how to use it, and who knows, maybe if they would have enjoyed it or whatnot. Yeah. Oh my gosh, the import fees, I don't even want to imagine. Especially like come January 1st, I really hope we don't have to do that. right, so I already had checked the front, and that looked good. And now the back looks really great too. So, and right here a little bit, you can see one of my basting stitches. But when I put the final binding on it, I think it will be fine. Annihilated. Oh yeah, too intimidating to try. No, like you jump in with both feet. Yeah, you know what I sometimes like I felt that way like teaching my first class too, where I was like, it was almost like imposter syndrome, like nervous to teach. But now that I've taught a couple classes, I feel more confident and like again got some feedback from people. So I totally think that you could teach an industrial class. Yeah, especially because I feel like you sew with one all the time. So I think I'm gonna stop here for the night because the bag is pretty much finished. All I have left is the binding on the inside and doing the strap. And the strap I'm just gonna make a regular crossbody with the seatbelt webbing. I'm not gonna make my own or anything. And then the inside, maybe I probably won't bind it live. Maybe I'll just do like a quick YouTube short or something for the binding, because I do have in my original tutorial and some other bags I have gone over how I bind a few times. Oh yeah, you definitely need to be teachable. As a teacher, yes, like you need people willing to learn, especially I feel like especially with sewing, you know, it's not like school where you're required to be there, that people who are open and willing to try. Yeah, thanks. I'm so excited about this dragon. I know it's kind of late, so my nieces won't be on, but my older niece, so I didn't want her to hear this, but my older niece is obsessed right now with How to Train Your Dragon, and the dragon Toothless. So I had an idea the other night. I bought some black croc vinyl, and I think I might try to adapt the face a little bit to look like Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. So, a 3D tail. Oh my gosh, that would be so cool. Nikki, you should make one and do that. That would be awesome. Yeah, I'm so excited. Like, because another option is you could leave the frills off. But I really like how they look. And especially once that binding's in, it's going to pop out even more. So, but yeah, thank you guys for joining me. I know tonight was a long night, so I really appreciate everybody watching and hopping on, whether you're chatting or just enjoying it. So, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so this is the Hugo by Carbon Chic. She's out of Australia, so depending where you are, your exchange rate might even be good too. And so the regular Hugo comes with a cat face and a dog face. This is from the Mystical Menagerie. She has a holiday pack, one with, I think it's like forest animals, and one with more like zoo type animals. And yeah, the Demi, the designer, she is a graphic designer as well. So like the pieces fit perfectly together. Like they're really, really done nicely. And she has SVGs for all the faces. Is it big enough to be a lunch bag? I think you could totally use that as a lunch bag. Depending, like I'm thinking like, you know, Tupperware box or whatnot. I think if you probably wouldn't be able to fit like a water bottle and that, but for the lunches that I take to work, I could totally fit it in here. that is a cute idea for that. That would make a really good lunch bag. And you could like insulate it, and especially with the water resistant canvas, or put some pool and stuff. Yeah, and the gusset's pretty. You could widen the gusset. The gusset's pretty wide. I mean, it's not zipped up right now. Not zipped up. It's about a 4-inch gusset right now. So, yeah, that's a great idea. But, all right, so I'm going to hop off. Thank you again for watching me. I really appreciate it. Next Tuesday is Christmas Eve, so I'm not going to be doing the 8 o'clock live. I'll let you know if maybe I go live this weekend instead or switch a day. But if I don't talk to you guys, I hope if you celebrate, that you have a great holiday. There's quite a few of them coming up. Or, just be safe with all the winter weather. So, yes, have a good night. Merry Christmas if you celebrate. Happy holidays. And I'll see you later. Bye.